Hey guys, my name is Dylan White, and the two articles that I found on this, I believe, the first one is titled Moving Beyond Stereotypes. So I think that this article, Moving Beyond Stereotypes, kind of related to our readings in African American communication because it was this guy, Chris Porter. He is a nurse practitioner in Washington. Okay, so this is a African American male. He is about, I think, 40 years old, close to 40 years old, and he uh, he has had stereotypes in his career where he is a successful nurse practitioner who is taking care of multiple people, and he's had situations before where he feels like in society he has a very low expectation for him because of his race. So he has kind of seen stereotypes that other people put on him, even though he is a nurse, about, this is the first black person that has taken care of me. That was one of his quotes that was in here. So he kind of thought that, when people were looking at him weird, it was because of his race or his ethnicity. And it's just wrong. So he kind of tells a story about how he had a older patient who looked at him funny. So he was thus thought, it was another case of stereotypes towards him. And they talked a lot about stereotypes in our reading and how people judge people based on just race and how, I guess, how it affects both sides of the party and like how hateful that human being is compared to how it makes the African American community feel, and it's overall just bad. So he, followed typical stereotypes like everybody else does, like everybody says in our books, and he thinks that this guy is kind of being racist towards him. So, it's about the fifth or sixth time that he's seen him, and he says, is there anything, any discomfort or anything like that, or pain that you're feeling? He goes, no, I just had a son that looked like you, but he died when he was 18. He wanted to be a nurse, and I was just wondering, he probably would resemble you, so I was just seeing if he would be the nurse that you kind of are. He was about your height, so this guy misjudged this guy. Immediately felt like shit. Went in the bathroom and cried, actually. So his main thing about this entire thing was the experience said that it instilled a belief in him that if he takes time uh, to listen, people will lower that shield that often takes days, weeks, and years to lower in some ways. So I guess that shield that kind of blocks people from accepting racial people or not accepting him, I guess. So the second story that I found on this, I believe, is titled I Am a Racist and So Are You. And this is by Shinyeri, Los Angeles, California. So it starts out with that title. It says, I'm a racist and so are you. But, this is woman. She said she is a black woman, and she would assume that she would already ace this because it was a test to see if you were racist. And she failed it. She failed it because she found herself making stereotypes, not even stereotypes, but like implicit racial prejudice was something that like it founded that she had by asking her questions. So she was saying even though you aren't like openly racist and hate other races and stuff like that, just identifying people based on their race can be something racist. So basically her main point of all this entire thing is quit even looking at it like a race. Look at it as like a human race type aspect. And everyone has a prejudice against something, against that other people are doing in this world, whether you like it or not. You do throughout your entire life. You build these prejudice, and it might not even be anything that's bad. It's just something that you might not even know you're doing the way you grow up. So for her, she says like large scale inequalities will come from individuals doing this type of stuff. So when you catch yourself doing those things, work on it, work on yourself, work on what your mindset should be when you come into that, and we can make a better society that she can be proud to live in if everyone just kind of works on their individual prejudice themselves. And that's it. So honestly, I think these two articles, very interestingly enough, relate to African American communication because it says this one can kind of relate to the African American side of it. That like, everyone is always race, about how white people are racist against black people, and then this is kind of like, everybody's racist if you're even thinking about race. So it's kind of an eye opener for a lot of people. And then the moving beyond stereotypes, that's just pretty plain and simple, straightforward kind of things. Even though he just assumed people had a stereotype of him when they didn't at all. So there's a lot you can take from this, but it overall is just people learning and communicating with the African American culture, and I just think it's pretty cool that they share their stories on here. So that's it.